Just a few days out from the Belmont Stakes. It is a huge week at Belmont Park. On Thursday, two stakes races, the Jersey Girl and the Wonder again, the Grade 2 Wonder again. Then on Friday, they have five graded stakes races. On Saturday, with the Belmont as the feature, nine graded stakes races on the card for Saturday. A huge 3 days coming up. Let's look at Thursday, see if we can make some money to get the bankroll all built for the big Friday and Saturday. Daily Racing Form is the place that I go whenever I need to handicap the races, whenever I'm going to start putting in my research. DRF.com, big, big, big week for DRF users. If you are someone at DRF Bets with the DRF past performances, everything you need there, and you have the opportunity to get past performances, clocker reports Thursday through Sunday, betting strategies, player guide combo, timeform USPPs, everything you need available at drf.com. Those Belmont Stakes day pass performances are now available. Go get them. Okay, let's talk Thursday. Let's talk about race number 4. So I'm looking at the formulator past performances here. In this race, it's a non-winner's a 2, optional 62. The number 4, Good Sam, will take some money. This is a nice 3-year-old filly. She's 2 for 2. She won both of her starts last year, but we haven't seen her since November. So these are the type of horses I always like trying to beat. For Chad Brown with Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard, for these connections, she's going to take a ton of money. I think right next door, we could look at Midnight Stroll, who could present us some good value. Her last 2 races, kind of similar. Towards the end of 2022, she was getting pretty good. I thought, put together like 3 solid races in a row when she won the Delaware Oaks. She comes back behind Society, who got really, really good at that time. And then she's behind Wicked Halo in the Raven Run. She's off from October to February, shows up in February. And in that race, there just wasn't a ton of passing. The winner of that race sat second. And she was in the second flight. She was in the 2-path in between. She's about 2 lengths off. She ran into a little bit of traffic. She moved up to challenge, and then she faded. The 4th finisher won next out, Classy Edition, who we can take a look at here, just clicking in the chart. Classy Edition, so 4th place finisher, Tap Dance Fever, wins next out. Classy Edition goes on, tries the La Troyenne, and then recently won a New York bred stakes race as the heavy favorite. I think we can make a legitimate excuse for that race. It was coming off the bench, just ran like a filly who sort of needed it. And then on May the 14th, same type of thing. Was a step slow, was last, about 5 off of and then made a 4-wide bid all the way up the challenge and then flattened out. I think she'll just have more fitness today, more bottom, a little bit more punch when she goes to make that move. She's going to get some class relief in here, dropping out of a string of graded stakes races. I like Midnight Stroll, putting 2 starts together in here. Midnight Stroll, 7-2 in race number 4. I would maybe single her in some of the early exotics if we can get anything 3-1-ish. I think that's a very fair price to play to win. Let's move on to some of the later races on the card. 7th race, kind of a fun, wide open turf race that kicks off your late pick 4. Just so many different horses you could use. A couple that were worth mentioning for me were the 3 Maxwell Esquire, who I've just always sort of chased this horse I like, and I think he's in a pretty good spot here. He fits well, and he could offer you some nice value. Kind of a spread out race all over. I don't have the strongest opinion. 7 cents will probably make it on a ticket or 2 of mine. There's some better turf form here to get back to if we can just make an excuse and say he didn't love the turf course and may have needed the race too. So a couple long shots, and that's the key, right? In a race that you feel is, wide open, use the prices. Into the Sunrise, I wouldn't have any issue with. Look at that horse like After 5, who's in good form right now. So I just think this is a race where I'll look for a little bit more than, a Cazadero, who it's going to be 9-5 with Running with Scissors with the entry there. Do have a little more of an opinion in race number 8, which is the Jersey Girl. So, couple very talented fillies in here, red carpet ready. 6-5 on the morning line, and she was really impressive winning the 8 bells. I mean, she's 4 for 5. Her only defeat came in the Devona Dale. I don't know about playing her from the rail in this spot though. At this price, I think she's the horse to beat. I prefer her to Chocolate Gelato, who's making her first start since the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Absolutely could win this race, but I'll prefer the horses with a little bit more recency. I kind of get led to Aunt Becca in this race if you're looking for a horse to bet in here. I thought her last effort was pretty impressive. She just sort of pushes through from the rail at Keeneland. She's the one in the race that we are about to watch. This was her third career start, and she didn't have the best beginning. It wasn't like a bad start, but she wasn't the fastest. I think they just wanted to push her through to keep out of trouble from the inside, and it worked out very well. She ends up, really crushing the field. So I thought it was a good ride from Brian Hernandez Jr. to make sure she was able to get out of any trouble and just kind of put her in a nice spot up towards the lead. So once she got challenged, she actually easily puts away that foe and then cuts the corner nicely and stretches her legs and really looks good. I like playing horses like this that come from Turfway. I think sometimes the horses that come out of the races at on synthetic tracks will be a little undervalued based on speed figures. Sometimes those horses just don't get as gaudy of numbers as the others do, and that could help the price of a horse like Aunt Becca. If you look at the first 2 races at Turfway, they were really solid and just didn't get monster speed figures in those, and then when she went away from the synthetic, went over to Keeneland, she was 13-1, and she really, easily dusted a non-winners of 2 allowance group. And the race she lost on March the 10th, they were flying in that race. The She finished 4th that day. She was sitting 3rd, maybe 4th, about 3 lengths off. She moved into contention up the rail, but the deep closers all passed her. The 3 horses who finished in front of her were 9th, 6th, and 11th at the first quarter call. Everyone who was up close just packed it in, and all the horses from the back of the pack came running. So just looking at her form, she's pretty quick. I actually wouldn't be shocked if she could sit a little bit in here. I really don't know if she needs the lead all that much. I think she can sit. It just depends on, the race shape with her. I like that she's drawn a little bit more towards the outside. So Aunt Becca, I think, would be the horse to bet if we can get 9-2 plus. I think the horse to beat is Red Carpet Ready. I prefer over Chocolate Gelato. I'll try to play against Chocolate Gelato first start of the year. Moving to the 9th, it's the grade 2 Wonder again. This is a pretty contentious group because there's a lot of these lightly raced 3-year-old fillies. But just looking at the way the race shapes up on paper, it really does look like Spansive is the horse to catch and beat. We've seen a little bit of speed from Juniper's Moon. I wouldn't be shocked if they try to get a little bit more aggressive with her because she was chasing Spansive last time out. I could also see one or two others. 30 Thou Kelvin has flashed a little bit of speed before. All American Beauty had shown a little, but the horse I actually think is kind of faster than it may look is the 7 prerequisite. She had a really good start. We can watch her last race here. She actually lost to Spansive in the debut, but then came back in her next start, and we're watching the race, and prerequisite is the number 6 in this race. She has a good start, right with the leaders, but is about 5 deep or so going into the turn because a lot of the horses to the inside wanted to hold their position and was able to kind of move up into a pretty nice spot behind a really quick pace. Sat 3rd and was just behind 2 horses that were going very quickly. And once she was asked, I thought she responded really well. She held off the challenge of the favorite, Highland Grace, who came back to win a maiden special weight in their next start. So prerequisite, I think can get a really nice trip here. Can she sit just a little closer to Spansive this time than she was able to in her debut? Looks like she showed some improvement in that second start. She got out of the gate a lot quicker, and she was much more forwardly placed in a race that was quick to the half. She's already proven at a mile and an eighth. The number 6 prerequisite horse for me. If you're watching along on social media now, we're going to see prerequisite, who's just sitting a really nice spot in third, angle out and move to the lead and hold off the challenge of the favorite, who starts to move from the back of the pack. Overall, a good effort in career start number 2, and I think that makes this one very playable at 6-1. We would need 4-1 plus on prerequisite in order to make a play here. So that's race number 9, the Wonder. Again, I like prerequisite over Juniper's Moon, Spansive. What in a race like this where it feels like they're lightly raced and sort of evenly matched, I'm just looking for horses that can provide a little bit more value. Revelita would be absolutely no shock at all. I don't know if she's that much better than everyone else to where she should be such a shorter price. She does exit some live races, no doubt about that. But, so does, if we're looking at Mission of Joy, she was in front of Mission of Joy. When I say she, Revelita, but Mission of Joy had a brutal trip that day. Juniper's Moon wasn't too far behind Mission of Joy, and then we saw Mission of Joy come back and look very impressive. So, fun race. When you have lots of directions to go, try to find value. Again, Venetia, I just think it's going to be a little bit shorter than I would want with her. It's no knock on her effort. She completely missed the break. She was last of 12 going into the turn. She was up on the heels. She got steadied back about 8 or 9 lengths off. She closed well, finished third. Like a couple others in here, a bit more. 2s and 7s for me. Spansive will be in the mix also, with the possibility that she could just steal this race. After those 3, then I would look at Revelita and Venetia in at least unders, but maybe trying to beat them on the win end a little bit with the number 7 prerequisite. Let's close it out in race number 10. This is a maiden $40,000 claimer for New York bred, 7 furlongs on the turf course. Couple worth mentioning here if you're playing any sort of late exotics. The 3 Red Butterfly gets a drop in class and was pretty good in that career debut sprinting. Had some trouble the second time on the turf, and then the third time tried the dirt. We could eliminate that race. So if you're just playing off the debut race, we actually know she can fire fresh also. The 4, Follow the Fed's a little interesting to me. Thought her race last time on the turf was fine. She actually moved into contention. It was an okay 4th. Pratt keeps the faith. It's not like this is a group of monsters in here. I wouldn't be shocked to see her be competitive in this group. One who I sort of lean towards is the number 8, Finney's Harbor. So this filly will be going 7 furlongs. She's got big early speed. The only time she ran against maiden claimers, she actually ran her best race in her career debut. She finished 4th that day, and then she stepped up twice and faced New York bred maiden special weights. And she didn't really run well in either of those, but keep in mind, they were against better, and she at least showed speed in both of them. The positives for her. I mean, she looks like the horse to catch. And she actually has 3 winning turf siblings. Dr. Shane, who is a winner on the turf, Esther the Queen, and Dream Chasing. So there is some turf in this pedigree. Maybe she was just facing a little too tough, and she might have caught a field that she can really use that speed to her advantage. How good is she? I don't know, but she should reward you. Castellano jumps aboard. And look up and down the field. Who is for sure as fast as she is? Pimenova hasn't been showing it as much late, and when she was fast, it was mainly going longer. Robin and Eli hasn't shown that speed quite as much recently. Do we get a little from Maggie? 8's the one to catch. Finney's Harbor, horse to catch, turf pedigree, dropping in class, some positives here for the 8. So Finney's Harbor will be in the mix for me. Pimanova right next door. Exits a race where the top 2 were 1-2 all the way around, so she didn't really get a chance to close all that well. And you get Cormouche up aboard. I wouldn't be shocked to see her more forwardly placed. As we mentioned, she has a little bit more speed to use than she has been recently. Robin Eli's the horse to beat here, dropping back down in class. See if we can catch the 8. Finney's Harbor on a flyer. The 3 horse fits really well in here. Mentioned the 4. Also, Follow the Fed as another exotic one to use. So a look at some of the Thursday races at Belmont Park. Good luck to you all week long at Belmont Park. And remember to get to drf.com for all of your handicapping needs for the Belmont. drf.com will have clocker reports for each day, past performances. You'll have betting strategies for the big day at Belmont Park. Good luck in all.